Hello, welcome. It is now Quora Question time. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but schedule changes, time changes. But at least I'm consistent with this 8:37 time. So let's get started. Let's see, September 6th, and we might actually catch up too. How do you spot a beginner programmer? I'm a senior software developer, and I'm just turned 40. Would FANG companies still be interested in me? What are some great business ideas that you wouldn't mind giving away for free? What feels illegal but isn't? What are some jobs which are stressful but still pay poorly? Why don't I get better at programming? I have been learning JavaScript for the last few months, but I still find it very difficult to build a simple calculator app. My peers keep getting better instead of me. All right. This is interesting right here. This person will just talk to you honestly. I see the reply already. It's going to be brutally honest. So let's see how this person uh, handles this. Okay, if you are easily offended slash insulted, just downvote this and move on. Mute me too, because all of my other content is like this. Why don't I get better at programming? Because you're not trying hard enough. You haven't been doing it long enough, and you're comparing yourself to your peers rather than working on yourself. Boom, get them right. Never compare yourself to others. Be yourself. Do your own progress. You know, let me see, what analogy is that? Analogy. Don't think of like everyone as having a special grade fuel. Like everyone else, no two fuel grades are the same. Maybe someone's high octane, so they learn programs so easily. Others may be mid grade, so they can kind of get it so and so. Then low grade, right? And none of you can't change these either. You could try to fake it to be either yeah, so something like that. So everyone's unique. All right. I have been learning JavaScript for the last few months, but I still find it very difficult to build a simple calculator app. Few months? Sorry, that's not really going to scratch the surface. I wouldn't expect a person only doing it for 3 months to be able to manage a calculator app. If you're finding it difficult, that's totally normal. It is difficult. Grumpy old man. The problem with today's generation is that they are used to having everything spoon fed to them. Exams are designed to be passed. Everyone gets a medal. Programming isn't like that. Programming is hard. Grumpy old man. Alright, sorry, but it needs to be said. You suck at programming, but you'll get better. It's not easy though. Accept that. Accept that it's not designed to help you pass an exam. And it's not going to get easier. You need to get better. My peers keep getting better instead of me. Forget about them. Concentrate on yourself. Bear in mind, people fake things. Your peers probably suck. They're just hiding it better. See, I like those answers. They're brutally honest. Uh, while not using like strongly insultive words. Okay. Um, why? My husband got a job offer from Finland. We are Indians. How is the country Finland to live? Will it be difficult for us to adjust? I was offered a job where I must sign an agreement of commitment. That means I must work for them for at least 2 years before I will be able to quit the job. Are these kind of contracts legal? If you could relive your 20s, what would you do? All right, let's see how people would change. All right, let's see. Let me see. Number one, don't get married until at least 28 years old. I wasn't fully formed person until then. Avoid any serious relationships until after finishing school or at least near the end. Two, research job prospect before settling on a major. Pick an undergraduate major that pays well and is somewhat broadly marketable, like computer science or engineering. Now about this, right? Some people like even let's say they start high school. I was like, I don't know what I want to be when I get older. So now, okay, now the end of high school happens. Oh, they still don't know what they want to do. So now they enter college. Here we go, multidisciplinary discipline studies, MDS, right? I'll be MDS, measure and everywhere. Now, now there's like, okay, they graduate college, they still don't know what to do. That's really problematic right there. Some people don't know what they want to do in life. So that's how it is though. That's how it is sometimes. 3. This is more for when I was 18/19, but I should have lived in college dorms instead of rooming off campus with older college students. My social skills would have developed faster. I could have taken the required classes geared for freshmen first instead of taking classes in my major first. I would have made closer friends in college. Ah. 4. Spend some time learning how to learn. 5. Don't overextend yourself. You have human limits. Get enough sleep always. You can do one to two great. Okay, here we go. You can do one to two things great or many things very, very badly. 6. While in college, don't neglect researching your future career. Doing internships, building your post-graduation resume, or developing relationship with professors. Professors are looking for residential assistants and teachers assistants, and it's not hard to get those jobs if you put a tiny bit of effort in planning. Uh, make more of an effort to make friends. It gets way harder later. Ah, 8. Build good credit history. Live frugally, buy a house as soon as possible, and rent out the extra rooms to help pay your mortgage. Home ownership is a bigger priority than retirement savings. Uh, in your 20s, in my opinion, retirement accounts are at the whim of the stock market, but real estate not so much. Also, paying rent to a landlord really sucks. True. 9. If you don't care about living close to family and you hate the area you live in, move into a place you like as soon as possible, and then invest in putting down roots there. I wish I had settled in a place with mountains and or greenery instead of in a desert plateau I'm stuck at because my husband's family all lives here. Wow. 10. Do some counseling with the therapist and use them as a sounding board for all the big life decisions you are making. Work through any trauma you have as soon as possible so you can be fully functioning adult and make the best decisions possible at the most pivotal time in your whole life. 10. 11. Don't just focus on correcting your weakness. You should also find out your strength and improve those. 12. Definitely develop the habits of physical fitness. Okay, let's continue here. Uh, are foreigners a major problem in programming jobs? How much do they affect the environment? Let's continue on to the next question. Why do people not tell you about being a software engineer? All right, next question. How can you tell if someone is trying to hide their intelligence? Okay, let's see this one. This one is another somewhat subjective opinion, but I don't think it's too bad though. All right, I believe a truly intelligent person will generally live a solitary life. They do not engage in conversations which cannot end in a conclusion that's known. They've had these conversations a million times, and they no longer bring them interest. They're tired of the appearance of arrogance, so they refrain from intellectual discussion. They're content to pursue their own agenda and quest for knowledge. They've reasoned that their journey is solitary one, whether they desire it or not. They seek absolutes, not what someone thinks. Yes, I love that. That's why I said in the very first video that like I rather have like something that's a fact, read factual stuff instead of like like subjective stuff. Like, oh, do you think the 14th president was a good person or something like that? I was like, that's very about ethics and stuff. It's like, just give me the factuals. Like, oh, the 14th president signed so and so, and that's how that evolved over today, and that's how so and so got influenced today, and all that stuff. You know, some factual stuff. Their reason that okay, we read that already. Uh, they seek. Okay. They are drawn to those who are like themselves, but fail to find them because they too are solitary individuals. Darn. Most importantly, they've discovered that they are not intelligent at all, and that understanding this is a true step towards wisdom. Yep. Okay. Uh, you are given 28 minutes to hide a JPEG photo in your computer. Afterwards, a hacker will be given 3 minutes to find it. Where do you hide it? If almost everyone can learn to program for free, Why is the salary relatively very high? It's all about drive, you know. It's like mediocre programmers are great programmers. Can a high school teacher legally force me to show my face during a Zoom conference call? That's a good question. Let's see. That's actually a good question right there, because now a lot of people are like going through this pandemic in school, homeschool, online school. I'm going to take the liberty of rephrasing your question in a way that I hope will make the answer to your question clear. Can a high school teacher legally force me to confirm my attendance and the fact that I'm still sitting in my chair, staying awake and paying attention to the lesson when I attend a class remotely? Of course they can. Think about it this way. If you were attending class live, in person, your teacher could require you to show your face. You wouldn't expect your teacher to let you sit through class with a paper bag over your head if you're meeting in a physical classroom. The rules don't change just because you happen to be attending class via teleconferencing technology. When you attend class remotely, the area in front of your laptop camera becomes an extension of your classroom, and your teacher can legitimately treat it as being an extension of your classroom. Your teacher still has the right to confirm your classroom attendance. Your teacher still has the right to monitor you to make sure that you didn't get up and walk out the door as soon as you had the chance. Your teacher still has the right to monitor you to make sure that you're actually awake and at least pretending to pay attention to the lesson. Edit. As the people who regularly read my posts are already aware, I make a conscious effort to avoid giving my own political opinions in my Quora questions, and I do not permit political debate in the comments on my answers. In accordance with my general policy, I have removed a few comments from this answer. If you want to debate politics, you're going to have to find somewhere else to do it. Folks, please continue with non-political discussions. Ah, okay. How can I be a millionaire? I don't have any money for investment nor partners to work with. Can an individual be self-made millionaire? Uh, the CEO offered me 50% shares to join as CTO. They are already profitable. Is there a trap? In an interview with an SQL programmer, how can you tell if the interviewee is lying? My friend's landlord said that he needs to show proof that he will not be able to pay rent due to COVID-19. However, he does not want to show her his financial record. What should he do? Is this legal requirement? The landlord, they technically can have legal access to your documents. That's what cause like that's under contract as well. When you sign, there's like release your financial information, release it. That's how it is. If your friend is asking the landlord to allow him to out of his rent payment, it is reasonable for the landlord to ask proof that your friend cannot pay the rent. The landlord does not have to let your friend out of pay his rent. In some jurisdictions, evictions are held for a period of time, but if your friend does not pay his rent, your landlord may evict him once the period of time is over. And if there is no such protection in your friend's state, then a landlord can just move to evict him as long as he follows the legal process. If your friend does not pay, it is likely that there is any law that prevents any landlord from asking for such information in order to satisfy himself that your friend is truly in financial need. It may be that there is a legal requirement that your friend proves he is unable to pay rent in your state. Your friend should look and see what documents would meet that requirement. If this is so, every state is handling COVID-19 in different ways as far as rentals. If your friend is asking for something he needs to respond to reasonable requests that prove that he should get it, expecting the landlord to just believe him is a lot to ask. If your friend has specific concerns about showing specific information, he should try to find out exactly what the landlord wants to see and find out what the landlord will accept. In short, your friend needs to be reasonable and cooperative with the landlord. What are the best LinkedIn backgrounds for software engineers? All right. If I got fired from 109 jobs, what will you assume of me? Should I use Udemy to learn development for YouTube? As a landlord, what are you doing about non-paying tenants during coronavirus? All right, let's see how people handle this. This is an interesting one right here. I have written about what I would do here. Theory has become reality. I have renters that can't pay. I'm saying can't instead of won't because I believe this is the situation. Luckily, I reached out to them first with the promise to work with all of them. Late fees are reduced to $1 and interest for past due amounts are reduced to 0%. Update. My attorney has advised that I simply charge the late fee and then credit 100% of it as the forgiveness under the COVID-19 emergency to maintain the integrity of the lease. So there's absolutely no late fee at all. For the renters that are laid off and unable to pay, I've assured them that I will not pursue any form of penalty or eviction proceedings, though court in Colorado will not hear any evictions proceeding until this is all over. You can still file. I've also assured them that once we do return to work, that I will negotiate repayment plans based on their capabilities and without any additional late fees or interest. In a nutshell, I'm asking my renters to pay what they can, when they can, if they can. The rest we will figure out after the emergency has passed. I believe I am very lucky. 80% of my renters paid in full for April, rent on time. I have made all of my mortgage, HOA, insurance, and tax payments for April. In May, I am planning that only 40% of my renters will be able to pay their full rent, as they are still fully employed and be able to work from home. Another 40% will be able to make at least 50% of their rent payments, as one member of the household is able to work from home. If conditions don't change by June, then I expect that I'll receive only about 40% total rental income across all renters, which will place me a cash flow negative. I have cash reserves that allow me to operate at 0% income for at least 6 to 8 months, so I'm confident that I could run at least a year before things become dire. In preparation for the worst case scenario, I'm applying for a $50,000 small business loan to ensure that I can run even longer, as ultimately I may need to end up forgiving 5K month of rent starting in June. I will also begin seeking mortgage forbearance, though I'm getting mixed answers from my mortgage holders regarding deferring payments on investment loans. I have not stated this in communication to my renters, but I will provide rent forgiveness and or permanent rent reductions to my renters on a case-by-case basis. We are all in this together, just like we were in the crash after 2008. I believe the best possible outcome for my renters and I are that we all stay in our homes and adapt to the changing environment as best we can. This too shall pass. We just have to make it through to the end of the end together. May update. 80% of my tenants have paid on time. One even paid 2 weeks early as she received her economic stimulus check and thought she okay. 80% of my tenants have paid on time. One even paid 2 weeks early as she received her economic stimulus check and thought she would pay early since some of my tenants may not be paying on time or at all. I never asked, she just submitted a payment online with a note. Uh, the rest are late, but I have heard from all of them, and all are promising some payment. Again, no one is being pressured to charge late fees or interest. That's a good person right there. Let's continue on. Actually, what does the upper class think about 9 to 5 jobs? I'm a mediocre software engineer. Can I be successful in companies like Facebook, Google, Uber, etc.? I prepared like crazy for 6 months, and I got an offer from one of them. I fear I got the offer because of my preparation. I fell on the job. So this person experiencing imposter syndrome right here. All right. What are 7 hard truths that everyone should know? Let's see. We'll use this one as the final one, then call it right there. All right. Here's the 7 hard truths that everyone should know. Number one. Everyone has an enemy. You don't have to hurt someone in order to gain an enemy. You might be the nicest person in the world and still have someone who prays for your downfall. An enemy stays close, super close. Watch everyone's actions at all times. Don't trust blindly. Uh, this well, let me say something about this. Some person just may hate you for the sake. They just hate you because they hate you. You know, they don't have a reason. They just hate you. They just hate to hate. You know. Two, you will never feel content if you compare your life to others. True. how successful they are, how rich they are, or how even happy they are. You will only feel content if you focus on yourself and your growth. That is so true. That is so true. Let me screenshot that. I actually like that. Oops. Is this possible to screenshot? Oh yes. That. That's pretty good. That's a good. All right. All right. 3. Your mind can be poisonous. If all you feed is it is negativity, be kind to yourself. You deserve it. We are far too critical of ourselves. Treat yourself the same way you would treat someone you love. 4. No matter how hard you try, failure is inevitable. But keep going. Persistence